Welcome, boys. Okay, in this video we're going to be replacing the EGR valve, possibly the solenoid, on our 93 Corvette with the LT1. That depends on how well it runs after I replace the valve, because currently, at the time you're watching this, we have already replaced the water pump and the OptiSpark. And that did clear the code 16 from the OBD1 system, but we still have a code 32. And in addition to that, at idle, this thing shakes and vibrates and runs poorly. And on light acceleration at low RPM with a low load, around 1200 to 1500 RPMs or so, it shakes kind of violently. But if you floor it, well, that all goes away. So, EGR, even though I just replaced this thing like 2016, I think, replaced it and the solenoid, so we're going to try the valve again first, see if that fixes it. So first order of business, we need to remove this cover, and we need to undo this. So we're going to unclamp this and pull this hose off, and then I'll get the smaller camera in here so we can hopefully see what I'm doing. Okay, boys, and with this piping from that secondary air system out of the way, which I have half a mind to remove. One of these days, I'm going to get rid of that secondary air pump and all that crap down there, all this piping, and all this EGR crap there and there, and think how much easier it'll be to replace spark plugs on this thing. We'll have room for activities for days. But in the meantime, let's EGR replacement. Yeah, we can get rid of that too. Get a block off plate, block off that thing down there, block off this thing right here, and then all the room. We'll have room for days. But anyway, with this thing out of the way, 3/8 is the one I'm using. I think you can use a 10mm also. But if you come at it from the driver's side, like so, you'll get just enough room for movement between the fuel rails here, and you can just slowly but surely start getting this out. So it'll take a hot minute, and this one you have a little more room to get on there and loosen that. But we just need to do this over and over again. Unplug this thing coming from the solenoid to the EGR. Well, I will in a second, and then we'll be golden. Alright, so I'm going to do that, and then we'll come back once we get this EGR loose. Old EGR, managed to save the gasket. It's awfully sooty in there. So we'll put the new one on, and after, of course, a nice long drive one day, what we'll go ahead and do is blast a can or two of carb cleaner down through the intake manifold past the throttle and clean any and all soot out of the intake manifold. That's why I hate EGRs. So I don't know whose ingenious idea it was. Oh, I know, I'm from the government and the EPA, and let's go blasting a bunch of exhaust gas back into the intake. That totally won't put a bunch of soot and everything in there and cause your engine to run like crap. Ho, F you, government. Alright, let's get the new one and slither it in there, Tetris it in, and bolt it back in place. And as you can see, a technique I did use to get those out is if you kind of use the weight of the EGR and apply pressure against it, you can just easily back that other screw out. The one where you got barely any wiggle room in there. Makes it go by much faster. This one went way more smoothly than it did the last time I did it, because we came prepared. Alright, let's get her back in. Now I'm confused. How the hell did this thing get all bent? Alright boys, it's as simple as that. So really the only tool you need is either 10mm ratcheting wrench or 3/8. And I went ahead and also replaced the gasket since my EGR did come with a new one, might as well. Let's fire her up, see if she runs normally at idle. If so, terrific, we win. Don't need to replace the solenoid. I can go ahead and clear the codes, and then that'll conclude this video. We're going to know real quick if it runs like crap or not. Doesn't sound like it's running much better. May have to replace that, why is the seat all cramped? Don't squish forward. May have to replace the solenoid, boys. Maybe not, I don't know, we'll see. Secondary air kicked on. Well, she feels pretty smooth. I think it's a successful repair, so I'm going to take it for a test drive, and I'll be back. But I think we're golden. I think we're golden, actually. Probably still use a can or two of carb cleaner down the intake, but for now, I think we're going to call it a successful repair because it's not shaking like it was before. We all know Walmart's to take it out on the road and give that light load, barely any RPM in a high gear, like slightly ascending a hill or something, I don't know for sure, but I feel comfortable saying tentatively that this was a successful repair. So I'm going to go ahead and clear the codes out of the computer. I guess I'll do a video on that too, maybe, a nice short sweet one so you know how to do that. But that'll be its own separate video, I think. So for now, successful EGR replacement. Catch you in the next video. Thanks for watching, boys. Peace.